This is an instructional video on how to create an account for myHistro. myHistro is a creative storytelling tool that helps students to learn and create various events using timelines to tell a story. Students are encouraged to add their own ideas to the storylines in order to help them learn how to gather and organize multimedia. Students will learn how to present a story in a method that is easy and clear for an audience to understand. myHistro is a unique way to present information, and its versatility should make it useful in any context. It is also collaborative. Students will work together in teams to create a timeline and can comment on each other's presentation. Now, before we can continue on, we're going to basically go back, or I'm going to take a step back and tell you how you can find it. Well, of course, we all have used Google, and so what you can do is just type in myHistro, and it will pop up for you. Once here, you're going to select your first option, and it will actually lead you to the page that I originally started this introduction at. Once you decide to click on the sign up, you'll be brought to this page. Now, there's many ways to sign up for an account with myHistro. If you already have a social media account, such as a LinkedIn account or even a Google+, you can use that to create it. However, you want to go the more conventional route, you can sign up by just putting in your first and last name, your email, and then creating a password. On myHistro, you do have to confirm that you are old enough to be on a social media network. Now, I have already created an account for myself beforehand, and so I already have it pre-populated. I'm just going to log in with that. Now, once you're in, you're going to be brought into what's going to be called, or is considered to be, your dashboard. On your dashboard, it kind of gives you a bit of information about myHistro. It'll actually talk about an example of what you can use myHistro for, such as for a family tree, and also give you a link to how to create your first events. Now, before we go into creating your events, I'm going to actually skip over to talk about stories and the storylines. And the reason the importance is that your events are what are going to tell your story. Now, also, you can use this tool. We want to use it for educational purposes, and you do have the option to create quizzes, but I will let you know that the quizzes are not free. You would have to actually upgrade to be able to get the quizzes as well. Now, I'll quickly just give you an idea of how do you get your profile updated, how do you add that information in. Now, when you do sign up your account and you put your first and last name in your email, that will also be pre-populated for you. So the first 3 stars are what you actually logged in, and the rest is optional information that you select. And now, so for the purpose for this informational tutorial, I just placed in some basics that I do live in Canada. You can choose to add your birthday. It's always a great idea to add a profile picture, so that when students join up, or even if teachers set up a timeline account, they will be able to see who they are communicating with. Scrolling down, you do have the option to connect your Facebook account with your myHistro account. Once you've made all of your updates, you will click Update, and that will ensure that any changes you made have taken. And so this pretty much will sum up the beginning parts of how you can use myHistro, how you can log into it, and now I'm going to go into more of creating that timeline. So your stories with myHistro are already pre-populated an idea for you, which is your own personal story. So here it shows my story as Michelle Williams. But for the purpose of what I believe myHistro can be used for, what I'm going to do is create a new story. Now you can select any story name that you choose of. So if it was something that you were going on a vacation, if it was something where you want to do your family tree, you can put in any name that you want. for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to use example 1. Now, one-liner description will also help you identify what it is, and I'm just going to put information. You do also have the option to have story co-authors. So as I mentioned before, students will be able to collaborate, and in order to do that, you would just have to check off this button and then add the names in of the people that you would like to be a part of collaborating with you on your timeline or on your story. Giving this option, it means that they can comment, they can, add, tags, or complete or continue your story. This is a great way to actually expand, especially if you are doing a family tree, so that other people can add on to it to actually create a more full and vibrant timeline that you have. And so once you completed this, you are going to hit next, and it will bring you down to add and manage my story events. So what you want to do is create a new event. Now this event is going to be your first point of contact on your timeline. So to create a new event, you would name it. You would put a little information about it. You would then put in the dates, such as when is this event going to start or when is it based on. And if need be, you add when does this event end. You can add any photos that you choose to. And one of the great tools that myHistro has is that you can actually type in any information. And so for the purpose of this, I would type in George Brown. And then you would click search, and it will actually show and identify what campus or what monument that you are looking for. So for this, we have now identified the George Brown campus, that it's at the Lakeshore front. You also, in this section, have the option to add a video. And then what we do is add your hyperlink here. Once you've added all that information, you would click done, and it'll bring you back to the original add and manage my story events, and this is your first event that you added to your timeline. Scrolling to the bottom of your page, once you're happy with what your event is, you would hit save story. I do heavily suggest that you save often so that any changes you made will not be lost. So now if you want to see where you're at or what's in your storyline, you can go back to home, click on stories, and it will show you here your example, what I have here, example 1, and my stories. Now the beautiful thing about this is that you'll be able to play it, and it will pop up with all the information that you've put in. Once you've added any photos or any updates, it will be presented here. So this pretty much sums up, how do you create an event? What is the purpose of the storyline? And how do you really get started on myHistro?